Hi all and welcome back to my Let's Play of Fallout 3. That's this game. That's the one. That's the thing we're playing. It's not Morrowind. Where we are going to be heading over to this big old tower because we've got to install our dish on it that we got last time from the museum. I feel like we're prime screenshot territory already, so let's do that. This does seem to be an ineffective way of doing this particular combat, I have to say. Oh, and there's more. What guns have we got? It's been that long since I played. This should do the job. Gone and done a level up. What are we fancying? Get our small guns up. It's not that important. Is our science up to 90? It is. We can't take that to 75, so there's not much point. I think repair at 60 is not terrible. Small guns at 80. Speech, there's no point putting anything in, so let's do some medicine. There we go. We're definitely getting into the realm of some of the better perks. Strong back's not terrible. I don't mind the additional carrying, especially 50 points of it. Ammo in containers, I don't hate. What are we thinking? Yeah, let's go strong back. It's going to be useful long term. But anyway, we are doing what every game set in a real world place, like the DC Wasteland is doing right now, and we're going to one of the biggest sort of monuments. There we go. That is recognisable because, of course, you've got to.
Keep moving, Wastelander.
Are we allowed to just go straight in here? We apparently have the password. I seem to remember this, you go on an elevator ride here, and I'm always pro, sort of, like, anything that gives you a nice vista. You see, like, we're already primed in a position here where it's cracked open for us to have a look through. So, as we ride up, we should be allowed to have a decent view. Which is no bad thing. I say that, but it might just get light. Depends how much, like, they can do it. But Tenpenny Tower had a good view. Yeah, we're good. Perhaps this is the place we should be taking a screenshot from. Going to nick all your 10 mil rounds. See, it does make me laugh because the big thing. Install the Virgo dish. Okay, the dish is still like relatively small, but that's a lot to look back here. It's a lot. This was like not as impressive as I was hoping. I was hoping to get more somehow, but it is an older game, so what am I saying? It's not terrible. Do I have to press the button to go down again? The way that that's moving in the wall is a little disconcerting, but we'll just get to the bottom and fast travel. See, I don't hate this mission. I mean, yeah, I'm getting memories back because it's been a little while since I played. It's probably been about 3 weeks or something. Just, yeah, life gets in the way. But I do remember Three Dog being such a good person and then holding information over our head. But because he's a nice person, we forgive him. Where is he? Hello? Ass.
Moves, kid.
Thank you.
Hey, all right. The hero of the wasteland returns.
I did what had to be done. No, thanks, Three Dog. I was just glad to help with the good fight.
Hey, you're the one that deserves all the thanks. You struck a major blow against tyranny. Now, GNR can be heard clear across the capital wasteland again. That'll give Eden and those muties something to think about. But before I get back to my calling, I bet you want to hear about your dad.
That's what we're here for. Well, yeah, where's my dad gone?
When your dad passed through here, he and I talked for a good long time. He's a real stand-up kind of guy. He mentioned some scientific mumbo-jumbo, which didn't make sense to me, and mentioned something called Project Purity. He also said something about going to visit a Dr. Lee in Rivet City. Then he left in a hurry.
Then Rivet City is where I'm heading. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Remember to keep us tuned in while you're out there. And watch yourself.
If only I could. I think the ability to record videos and put them on YouTube with the particular soundtrack that comes to this game would do a lot of heavy lifting for me, for enjoyment. Just to sort of relax into the tunes, you know, reminisce. Oh, Lord. I've come the weird way out. Oh, no. Okay, we are going to fast travel to Rivet City because we've been there before, so it's not like it's a big, long journey for us. And head inside. See Dr. Lee, we've actually not been too far away from Dr. Lee before, so should be a short journey to the med station.
What do you want?
Hello,
Look,
Dr.
this
Lee.
is a restricted area. I'm tired of telling you people. It's you. My heavens, you look so much like him.
Why, thank you.
You're James's son, aren't you? What are you doing here?
Wait. How do you know who I am? Have we met?
You were too young to remember, and I suppose James never spoke of me. Typical. I am Dr. Madison Lee. I worked with your parents many years ago. Now I run the science lab here in Rivet City. It was all I had left. When your mother died, your father decided to leave with you. He abandoned our work. We had no choice but to do the same.
I'm trying to find my father. Have you seen him?
You mean you haven't? I assumed he sent you here. For that matter, aren't you supposed to be in a vault? James said he left you there.
I left the vault to look for him.
Did you? I was under the impression that's exactly the opposite of what he wanted for you.
Well, I'm a
Well,
rebellious
you'll find him
teen,
here.
so...
He's come and gone already.
Or young adult, anyway. I'm sorry, could you please tell me where he's gone?
Your father insisted that we return to work on Project Purity. I tried telling him too much time has passed. There's no way it would work. Predictably, he refused to listen to me. He says he can prove it will work and headed off to the old lab. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to tell you.
Where is this old lab of yours?
It's in the old Jefferson Memorial Building, northwest of here. Please, don't go after him. It was foolish of him to even think about going there alone.
Can you tell me any more about my
I
parents?
suppose so. I worked with them for several years until your mother died and your father decided it was time to leave. What else do you want to know?
What was my father like back then?
James? He was very driven, determined to change the world. Well, we all were back then, I suppose. He was focused on two things, really. Making Project Purity work, and your mother. When she died, I think he gave up. I know he wanted to keep you safe, but I think part of what he did was run away. But it seems that he never really was able to get over the idea. I'm frankly shocked that he waited all this time and wants to try again.
It's interesting because these characters are all wrote as if they were living normal lives within our world, you know. Oh, we were young and hopeful. What did we know? But they, like, their perspective of being like a young intellectual type is so written from our world. How would you have that within the Wasteland? I'm not sure. It's a weird disconnect. It's not huge, but it's there. I never knew my mother. What can you tell me about her?
Yes, Your mother was... well, she was a good woman. A very dedicated scientist. Your father loved her very much. It was a shame that she died. She had been excited to meet you.
Yeah, these aren't scientists that have like lived and grown up in a nuclear wasteland. These are scientists from, 2007, I think this game came out, or something like that, transposed across, or a scientist from a comic book or something like that, or a film, Why did my mother die? What happened?
Complications from childbirth. None of us were expecting it. We weren't as prepared as we could have been. You have to understand, we were struggling with scavenged, derelict equipment. We did everything we could.
Yeah, in all fairness, that is the one truth of the situation, that childbirth would be horrific in these times. I understand, I'm sure you did everything you could.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry it wasn't enough.
Let's talk about something else.
Okay.
I'd like to know a bit more about you.
What? Well, I'm not sure what there is to tell. Your father and I, we worked together for a long time. I think we were really on to something. But then there were complications. The project was abandoned and your father disappeared. I returned here to Rivet City and established the lab you see before you now.
Fantastic. Tell me about the project.
Project Purity, we called it. What do you want to know?
What was the point of it?
It was simple, really. Fresh, clean water for everyone. Such a simple idea, and yet so impossible to realize. The plan was to build a facility that could purify all the water in the tidal basin at once. No radiation, no muck, just clear water. It just turned out to be more difficult than we anticipated.
Why didn't it work?
We had the basic principles down. We understood most of the science behind it, but the radiation in the area is so pervasive. Small-scale tests were fine, but anytime we tried to test the process on a larger scale, it was just too much. Maybe if we'd had more time, or better equipment.
To be fair, this is a point where the tone actually does fit in with the rest of the world it's creating. It feels more like a Book of Eli or something like that, a post-apocalyptia that has nods to the way of life in it, but, and it's been a long time since I've seen that film, so I don't want to speak to it too heavily, but it's working in like a pastiche instead of truly interrogating it. It's more of a setting. Why did you stop working on it? What happened?
You happened. It wasn't just you. We had more problems than we could handle already, but your birth is what finally pushed it over the edge. Your father decided that you were more important than everything we'd been working for, and he left. He left all of us. Once he was gone, the Brotherhood decided we weren't worth their time anymore. Without their protection, we had to abandon the purifier.
Brilliant.
Okay.
What is this lab? What are you doing here?
This is the Rivet City Science Lab. It's taken many long years to put together, but we've done well for ourselves. Our work on portable fusion power and hydroponics are coming along quite nicely, if not quite according to schedule.
Interesting. Sensible things to be working on in the apocalypse. Cool. So, let's go and find my dad. I feel like it makes most sense to be continuing down this quest line for now. We don't want to be wandering off to other things this second. I know I talked about doing Operation Anchorage relatively recently. Maybe. It might have been a couple of episodes ago. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to continue playing on through.
Hello. Watch it, will you?
Do you know what? This is a cool place for a city, and I know it's something they sort of try to probably emanate in Fallout 4 because they do the big football stadium as the city place, but that never worked for me because you don't get the impression it's large. Whereas this area here, I get the impression that it's it has all of these winding corridors and it feels like a city, But because the other one's in an open space, it actually, like, it always gave the feel of a smaller area to me. Really is becoming the episode of let's go to all of the famous places. How do I swap things again? No. I was seeing if I could try and target the grenade out of the air, but that doesn't seem like a possibility. But the Jefferson Memorial, I assume, from the naming conventions of it, is a famous place in America, the DC wasteland. Ah, it's still so good. In all fairness, I get the temptation. If I was set in a like a wasteland in London or something, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's have a burnt out London Eye and let's have the Houses of Parliament. They're the things that stick in people's sort of collective memories when you think of like famous places, aren't they? Improve the gift shop? I think so. Always got to have a gift shop. Oh, gunshots in the distance. I seem to remember there being a big battle here, but I'm sure we'll find out. You know, the game trying to do set pieces again. Oh. Ah, the turret doesn't like me. I wonder if I can make the turret like me on here. Middle of a firefight trying to hack something. Let's try repairing. Okay, that's really similar. So I'm going to guess Ing and RE. So I think that releasing is looking very good. So that suggests it's just the Ing that's the same. Willingly? Oh, God knows what it is. Oh, I'm in a... Oh, there's a guy there. One successful hack. What are my options going to be? Okay. System information, no. So it's just going to be a deactivate then, which means I have to take down the super mutants myself. There we go. Successfully taken down. I'm going to leave your hunting rifle. I have that many hunting rifles now. We are not in need of more. If I remember rightly, this is where things happen. Where game happens. Oh! Not what I was expecting. It's a brute as well, so I am going to switch over to this. See, there are some tactics to it. It seems to me like high rate of fire does can do a lot of the work for you. Oh, come on. And then the other person's outside, I bet you. Trying to sneak around. Swiftly dispatch of. And we can actually go in and find the thing we're here for. Finally. Journal entries are probably good. I don't want to go through all the journal entries. I know where he is. He's gone to go and get one of the things that does the thing. Let's have a listen.
To be honest, the Gek sounded like pure fantasy, even for someone of Braun's capabilities. It was nothing short of a miracle. A terraforming module capable of producing life from complete lifelessness. But not only was this thing a reality, it was actually distributed to several vaults to be used after an atomic war. Vault 101 was, sadly, not on that list. I did some digging and discovered Braun's name on the reservation list for a Vault 112. I'm no slouch, but this man, he could have easily succeeded where I failed. Does his collected knowledge remain within the halls of Vault 112? Journals, holotapes, computer records, maybe even experiments. If I could gain access to just a fraction of Braun's genius, Project Purity would become a reality. Even in Vault 101, my work on Project Purity never really stopped. Soon after we arrived, my nightly routine included sneaking into the restricted areas, searching for, I don't know, whatever I could find. It was a Vault-Tec facility, after all. The place was built with some of the most advanced technology this country had ever developed. Those excursions never turned up anything particularly useful. So, one night, after half a bottle of scotch, I broke into the Overseer's office. It was easy enough to hack his console, gain access to the restricted files. Most of it was garbage. Propaganda, spy reports, just plain rambling bullshit, really. But there was one thing, one name that stood out amongst all the others. Dr. Stanislaus Braun. I knew of Braun's work, of course. He was a celebrity in his day, Vault-Tec's sorcerous scientist, leaving his peers in awe with his technological wizardry. But it was in Vault 101 that night in the Overseer's office I first learned of Braun's involvement in Vault-Tec's Social Preservation Program and his work on something called GECK, the Garden of Eden Creation Kit. I'm off to Vault 112 to search for anything of Braun's that might help me get this purifier up and running. All I know is that it's west of some place called Evergreen Mills, and it's well hidden in some sort of garage. I'll find it. I have to. It's so close, but that's the story of Project Purity, isn't it? An eternity of almost theirs. Let's see if Braun has the missing puzzle piece.
I hope that was audible, because it sounded quite quiet through my headphones, but I have got them turned down a touch. So basically, if not, and you've skipped through that because it was horrible, I'll see if I can turn it up in editing, actually. The part that he's missing for Project Purity to purify all the wasteland waters is going to be a GECK, Garden of Eden Creation Kit. There's definitely a couple of religious references in this game, I've noticed now. There's that, there's his favourite Bible passage at the beginning. Anyhow, yeah, I'm going to go and find my dad. Did I save just then? I did. I see them fighting over there and I want nothing to do with it. Something I'm finding really enjoyable just trekking across the wasteland. And even without music, it's like... it's quite peaceful, actually. I don't know if it's just because we've got a nice little sunset going on over here or what. And to be fair, I think there's always been a correlation of like the sublime and wasted human civilization. And that's something that post-apocalyptic sort of imagery quite often taps into. And it's almost a shame that there's this veneer of satire around this game instead of leaning more into that. But it almost comes across as confused when it does manage to have that in the world, and then the satire, and then the sort of action hero story it's going for somewhere in the amongst of all that as well. It's a little confused, I think I'm coming to realise. A little confused. I have to say, the audio logs earlier from my dad as well were incredibly well done, considering he was acting to no one and into a thing. But well done to, I wanted to say Jason Statham then, which is not the right person. The actor who plays your dad. Leslie Nielsen, is that it? Something. Right, let's go down the stairs, if it doesn't glitch this time. I'm saving even when I get to the bottom of here. This game has crashed several times recently on this section, so we'll see if we can actually get through it this time and go and find our dad. Some nice mole rats to take out along the way. I distinctly remember this part of the game, and I remember it being good. We'll see if that holds up, like, sort of 10, 12 years after I played it, but who knows? Who knows? It's a vault. I think something these games do well, because you do start in a vault, is the fact that every time you do see a vault from that point onwards, it's, like, kind of exciting. It's a moment, you know. Here we are. I can't remember if there's like much exploring to do here or not. It appears so.
Welcome to Vault 112, resident. According to sensors, you have arrived 202.3 years behind schedule. Please redress in your Vault Tech issued Vault suit before proceeding. If you have misplaced your suit, I am authorized to distribute a new one. Once dressed, please proceed down the stairs to the main floor so that you may enter your assigned Tranquility Lounger. Please
Brilliant.
take a seat in the nearest available Tranquility
I
Lounger.
kind of want to have a look just to see if we missed a door up here. Gotta know. I gots to know. Oh, nothing. It's worth checking though. You never know when a great piece of lore or content is going to be waiting around a corner. I think this might be where we end today's episode. I know it's a bit of a shorter one, but yeah, that's cool. This is I think a decent jumping off point. Right here, in fact, because this is going to be our next mission in here, so I think it's a good place to be. Right, thank you for watching today. I will be hopefully getting back to weekly releases on this, but we'll see how things go. No promises. My name's been Billy. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.